My plan is to turn my C6 Corvette Z06 into a Porsche GT3 killer, but so far things are not going according to plan. I spent almost $4,000 on a used AP Racing big brake kit, and it does not fit. And now that I've done some more investigation, I'm pretty sure that I got scammed. So today I'm gonna remove the kit, pack it up, and send it to somebody I've never met before. And then we're gonna see if we can start fixing this mess. This is not the first time I've been scammed. About 20 years ago, I was in college and there was a scam going around called the white van scam, and it was actually pretty widespread. I was walking through the parking lot, I was on the lunch break from my job, and I had just bought a sandwich, and this guy pulls up to me in a white van, and he's like, "Hey man, do you like speakers?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do like speakers." And what a coincidence that was, because he said that he had been installing speakers. He had a van full of really expensive high-end speakers, and he had a couple of extras. And he looked at his invoice, and those speakers weren't on there, so nobody would miss them if they disappeared. And so he said, "Hey, I'll cut you a deal on these things." The part of my brain that normally would be absolutely against buying stolen property from the back of a van somehow got short-circuited by the idea of getting this great deal. And I ended up with what turned out to be a really crappy, really big set of speakers that's worth maybe 30 bucks. And I gave him everything that was in my checking account, which was about $250 at the time. Of course, that kind of experience really teaches you a lesson. And since then, I've always been very careful to inspect the merchandise before I buy something out of the back of a van. But more importantly, I've learned that you really have to be on your guard anytime a deal seems too good to be true. So how did I fall for it this time? Well, I think that the main reason is that the deal didn't seem too good to be true. The seller was asking $4,500 for a kit that retails for $5,700. I negotiated with him to get a fair price on it, and he was not giving off any of the red flags that you typically associate with a scammer on the internet. But I think the key is that I never considered that maybe the seller had been scammed by the shop that sold him the kit in the first place. I wasn't on the lookout for a second-hand scam, a scam that was being paid forward, if you will. I'm not even sure that the guy who sold it to me knew that this kit wasn't legit, but I don't want to dwell on him too much, and I know for certain that this is not a genuine AP Racing kit. So part of the kit is this rotor hat, and it's clearly not an AP Racing rotor hat because it says Raceform Motorsport on it. This rotor hat clearly isn't the right size, and I found that out the hard way because I installed it and tried to drive the car, and it locked up because the rotor face was contacting the lower control arm. But I think I could have seen a sign that there was a problem before I installed it. All right, here's the rotor that came with the kit next to a factory sized rotor. Can you see how much higher up this one is when it's sitting on the bench? That means that this rotor face is 7 millimeters closer to the lower control arm than this one is. That's a big red flag. So this is the caliper bracket that came with the kit, and it's obviously not the AP Racing unit, and I had to take some material off because it was contacting the rotor. The purpose of this caliper bracket is to position the caliper relative to the rotor. Probably hard to see in the video, but the rotor is not centered on the caliper. It's offset to the inside by a couple of millimeters. So we've got a rotor hat, which is very questionable because it puts the rotor so close to the lower control arm. And then we've got a caliper bracket that positions the caliper off center from the rotor. Bottom line, do I want to trust my life to the engineering of these parts? I don't think so. If I had been on the lookout for warning signs when I looked at the original ad, there's some stuff I would have seen. So let's compare that ad to the official bolt-on kit that AP Racing sells. The first thing you notice is the design of the rotors themselves. AP Racing is known for this iconic J-hook design, and obviously the rotors that I bought don't have that. Also, if you look at the rotor hats, the ones that I bought are etched with Raceform Motorsports. And it doesn't make sense that that would be on a kit from AP Racing. Also, the caliper bracket in the kit that I bought, you can tell it's just a plain aluminum bracket, but the one that you buy from AP Racing is anodized black. Knowing what I know now, those are all big red flags, and it looks like Raceform Motorsport went out of business in 2019. But when I was browsing the ad, I wasn't really on my guard like I should have been. So now I'm down in a pretty deep hole and I don't know how to get out. But one thing that I've learned is that if you find yourself in a situation where you don't know what to do, that means it's probably time to ask for help. So I'm gonna pack up the kit, I'm gonna ship it out, but I'm not gonna tell you where they're going just yet. What I will tell you is that the story of these brakes is not over. Let's get them packed up. Okay, the AP kit is packed up and ready to go. It's a couple days later now, and I'm left with only one option for front brakes because there's nothing on the car. I have to go back to the factory calipers. And I'm actually kind of glad to be doing that because if you've been following the series, you know that I've had this vibration under braking issue since I bought the car. I tried a couple of things to fix it. It's still a problem. And before we move on, I really want to isolate that problem, confirm what it is, and get it fixed. So I've got a plan for doing that, and step one of that plan is to clean up those factory calipers because they are filthy. Ran into another setback with the brakes, and as I was cleaning up one of the front calipers, I discovered that the boots around the pistons were torn. So that means that these calipers basically need a rebuild. You need to replace the boots and the seals for the little pistons, and that's not something that I can get from my local parts store. So I put in an order for those parts, and the plan for today has shifted into just get all of the calipers cleaned up, disassembled, and ready for a rebuild. Still tired of working on brakes. Cleaning up the calipers was kind of fun, but like it's impossible to get them completely clean. They're like 16 years old, so some of that brake dust is just like never gonna come off. I am tired. I am looking forward to getting the car driving again, trying to tell myself that this is gonna be worth it in the long run. It's gonna feel really good when the car is driving vibration free, but we're not quite there yet. We got a little ways to go. All right, new morning, new ideas. I was reading on the Corvette forum this morning that some people who run these on the track don't run them with dust boots. In fact, the AP Racing brakes don't have dust boots on the pistons because those pistons end up getting so hot it destroys the rubber dust boots anyway. You do have to service a caliper more often if you're running it without the dust boots, but I'm fine with that, especially since it means that I can put these calipers back together, get them back on the car, and do some testing. Okay. I have the calipers reassembled. Some of the pistons were a little sticky going in. I don't know if that's going to be a problem or not, but I'm going to put them back on the car. All right, so the rears are installed, fresh rotors, the Carbotech XP10 pads. I'm going to leave the fronts alone. So the old rotors and the HP Plus pads that I had on before, The reason is I want to make sure that I can reproduce the issue with basically brand new stuff in the rear and the old stuff in the front. That's going to help me confirm that it's the front that's bad. And then when I try a fix and it works, I'll know for sure that that's what it was. Okay, all the calipers and rotors are back on the car, so now we can bleed the system and then put the wheels back on, take it for a test drive. Reservoir's topped off, all four corners bled multiple times. I'm gonna put the wheels back on and see what happens when I try to drive it. What I think happened last time that kind of ruined these front rotors is that I bedded them in way too aggressively and I overheated the pads, and that caused uneven pad transfer, which then leads to these hot spots that grab and cause the brakes to vibrate. So we have fresh rotors in the rear, relatively new race pads in the rear, and so that's going to eliminate the rears hopefully as being the cause of the vibration. Now we could have something else going on, like a suspension component or a wheel bearing, but I think that's unlikely because this issue only seems to present itself when the brakes are hot. So to confirm that, I'm going to get the brakes warmed up, but I'm going to do it gently. And I want to get kind of a set of repro steps that when I attempt a fix, I can try those same steps. And if the vibration doesn't happen, then I'll know that it's fixed. Pedal feel is decent, so the brakes are working. They're going to stop the car. That's good news. 60, down to 40. Definitely a little bit of shimmy in the wheel. Not feeling it through the brake pedal though. I think maybe we got it. Maybe it was the rears all along. It's not doing it. It's just not. I mean, I'm like super hypersensitive now to every little vibration. Oh, well, okay, maybe it is doing it. There it is. There it is. All right, so I think we got it. We do have to work a little bit to get the brakes hot. It doesn't happen, or at least it's not pronounced when the brakes are just sort of warmed up. They have to be hot, so you have to do some somewhat aggressive stops to get it to happen. But once they're hot, then it's there every time you brake. My theory is still that it's some combination of the front pads and rotors. And to test that theory, I have a brand new set of centric plain face rotors and a used set of Carbotech XP12 pads, which were generously donated by my buddy Trent. Yeah. Trent runs C6 brakes on his C5, and so he put a new set of these on, and these were kind of his spares. He said I could have them, so that was very generous of him. So we're gonna put fresh rotors, track pads on the front of the car, and we're gonna see if that solves the problem. One thing that I thought was kind of interesting, the pad is not fully contacting the rotor there. So that's indicative that there's going to be some taper going on with the pads, like they're not going to wear evenly, and that's yet another reason why you might want to consider aftermarket calipers. The rear brakes are showing signs of having bedded in pretty nicely. Nice even gray-blue transfer layer on those. First thing you notice, a little squeaky. All right, I am feeling reasonably confident. that felt fine. I think we're good. I think we're good. There's a little bit of steering vibration, but it's not coming through the pedal at all. Like, I might have something going on, but it could just be that the surface is bumpy. All right, one more. I think we're good. I think we're good. Oh man, how many times have I had the car up and down, parts on and off? It's my own fault. This is basically the setup that I had on my C5 Z06. I should have just bought this to start instead of messing around with street pads and all that crap. I do feel like I'm hearing the wheel bearings though, just slightly. Yeah, when I go right under load, I hear it every time. And I don't hear it when I go left. Okay, braking vibration appears to be fixed. Racing pads and new rotors in the front seem to have done the trick. I don't really feel like we're seeing the consistent distribution of pad material on that rotor like I would hope for. So that makes me nervous, but if the vibration is gone, then that's a good thing, I guess. The other thing that prevents me from, wanting to celebrate is I'm hearing kind of a groaning sound, but only when I turn right at speed. So I think one of the wheel bearings on the left side might be starting to go, and I don't feel comfortable taking the car out on track if we have a potential wheel bearing issue. I've had a wheel bearing fail on track before, and that resulted in losing the entire wheel.
You okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Obviously, you're missing your left rear tire.
What?
Yeah, you're missing.
I saw it go down the track. Which is, a safety hazard. It's not fun when it happens. So I got to look into that and think about what's next for the project, but I'm just glad to be done with the brakes, at least for the moment. Hopefully we'll have an update on that AP Racing kit soon. Thank you guys for coming along for the ride. I'll see you next time.